Upon pulling Hesperos, we position him center. Searing Stream is a standard Raidwide AoE. Hesperos' first major mechanic will be Akanthai Act 1. Akanthai means thorn, and during this cast, Hesperos will show us all of the mechanics that will resolve later, similar to Spell in Waiting from P4S, before the telegraphs turn into these red thorns. For Act 1, we are shown 8 towers on the arena intercardinals, as well as 4 massive circle AoEs at cardinals on the arena edge. After another Searing Stream, Hesperos casts Wreath of Thorns. During this cast, he will tether the various thorns he has placed in sequence, showing us the order the mechanics will resolve. First, he will tether either the east and west, or north and south circle AoEs, followed by the 8 intercardinal towers, and finally the remaining 2 circle AoEs. If he tethers north and south first, then the starting safe spots will be east and west, and vice versa. We resolve this mechanic by first assigning everyone true north tower positions, with the melee taking the 4 inside towers and the ranged taking the 4 outside towers. With these positions in mind, we move to the safe spot nearest our tower, and after the first 2 circles resolve, we move into our towers. Once the towers resolve, we move into the final safe spots where the first circles detonated. Players can use the diamond phantom lines on the arena floor to help with positioning for uptime here. Immediately after Act 1 resolves, Hesperos casts his first sight, Tankbuster. This buster has 2 variations, with Nearsight targeting the 2 nearest players with circle AoE busters, and Farsight targeting the 2 farthest players. Akanthai Act 2 once again telegraphs future mechanics, with 4 towers just counterclockwise of the cardinals, and 4 large circle AoEs just clockwise of the cardinals. This is probably the most overwhelming mechanic in the encounter, and we chose to use our waymark specifically for positioning during Act 2. Before going too far into Act 2, Hesperos will cast Demigod Double, a shared damage AoE Tankbuster. This can be shared with cooldowns or soloed with an invulnerability. Hesperos will once again cast Wreath of Thorns, showing us the order the mechanics will resolve. We have placed our markers such that all towers are represented by a letter marker, and all circles are represented by a number marker. Like Act 1, we will have starting safe spots either at north and south, or east and west. Since our numbers represent the circle AoEs, if the first tether is on the thorn at A, we know that north and south will be the starting safe spots, while if the first tether is on the thorn at 1, we know that east and west are our starting safe spots. After the Wreath of Thorns cast, players will be marked with various elemental tethers, and this is where the real complexity of this mechanic comes in. Players need to quickly identify what element is above their head before it disappears and quite literally becomes a thorn in their side, indicated by the thorn-pricked debuff. After the tethers come out, Hesperos will cast Dark Design, dropping circle AoEs under each party member. Let's talk about the individual elements. When Dark breaks, it will deal raid-wide damage and inflict a 2-second magic vulnerability up. When Fire breaks, afflicted players will be targeted with a shared stack AoE. When Wind breaks, it kills the tethered players. Additionally, with the exception of Wind, failing to break these tethers quickly enough will cause them to resolve on their own, dealing greatly enhanced damage. One tank will have no element, and this tank will be bound to the healer with Dark. The other tank will have Fire, and be bound to the healer with Fire. 2 DPS will be bound, each with Fire, and 2 DPS will be bound with Wind. Now that we have an understanding of what these tethers do, let's look at the mechanic by each pair's responsibilities. The no element tank and the Dark Healer will move to immediately break while the baited Dark Design cast is going out, with the healer moving to the number in the south or west safe spot, and the tank moving to the number in the north or east safe spot. After baiting their circles and breaking their tether, both players move counterclockwise to the nearby letter to resolve a tower. From here, the tank will once again rotate counterclockwise to the next number to share a stack, while the healer will rotate clockwise to the next letter to soak a second tower. The Fire Tank and Fire Healer will start the mechanic by baiting their Dark Designs mid with the rest of the raid. After baiting, they will move out to break their tether, with the Fire Tank going to the south or west safe number, and the Fire Healer going to the north or east safe number. After breaking their tether, the tank rotates clockwise to the next number to share another stack, while the healer rotates clockwise to the next letter to resolve a tower. The Wind DPS need to stick together, and have it pretty easy. After baiting Dark Design mid, they move together to the north or east safe number to share a fire stack, and then rotate clockwise to the next number to share a second stack. Finally, the Fire DPS have almost as easy of a job. After baiting their Dark Design mid, they move to the safe south or west number to share a stack. From here, one rotates clockwise to the next number, while the other fire DPS rotates counterclockwise to the next number, separating the two and breaking their tether last. My group used a priority system to determine which fire DPS would rotate counterclockwise. This mechanic has a lot happening at once, but every role has 2 specific movement sets to remember, based on their role and element, and the pinned comment contains my cheat sheet breaking these movements down. After resolving Act 2, the party immediately collapses mid for raid buffs and to mitigate Ultimate Impulse, a massive damage raid-wide AoE. Akanthai Act 3 will telegraph 4 towers on the west wall, 4 towers on the east wall, and a knockback from center. Hesperos will then once again cast Wreath of Thorns. With our strategy, the side Hesperos tethers first will be the ranged side, with the melee taking the opposite. Kothornos Kick will target the farthest player away with a massive circle AoE that will knock back any other player's hit, while inflicting magic vulnerability up. We have the off-tank bait this on the tip of the diamond on the melee tower side of the arena. As soon as the kick resolves, the baiter runs back towards mid, while the remaining 3 melee move in to bait 3 Kothornos Quakes, proximity-baited Conal AoEs that also inflict magic vulnerability up. 1 melee baits to the north, 1 baits on the wall, and 1 baits to the south. While the melee are baiting these Quakes, the 4 ranged have moved into their towers, which resolve at the same time as the Quakes. We also hit our knockback immunity during these Quakes to immune the upcoming knockback from mid. After resolving the Quakes, the melee adjust to their tower assignments. As the melee towers go off, Hesperos will once again Kothornos Kick to the farthest player. We have one of the ranged bait this on the tip of the diamond on the ranged tower side of the arena. Following the jump, the baiter moves out while the 3 remaining ranged move in to resolve the second set of Quakes as the melee did. Hesperos will cast another sight Tankbuster, after which we reposition the boss mid. Heartstake is a bleed-inflicting 2-hit Tankbuster that hits the highest enmity player, followed by the second highest enmity player. By having the off-tank provoked during the cast, 1 tank can soak both hits, allowing the healers to only deal with 1 bleed. Akanthai Act 4 will telegraph 4 large circles and 4 towers. After the thorns are placed, Hesperos will cast a Searing Stream before casting Wreath of Thorns, giving 4 players a purple dark tether and 4 players a blue water tether. Breaking a dark tether will cause the tethered thorn to blow up in a massive circle AoE in addition to the dark Raidwide, while breaking a water tether will cause the tethered thorn tower to resolve while targeting the water player with a large AoE. Positioning for this mechanic is incredibly easy. First, check your color and the thorn you are tethered to. If you are a dark purple tether player, move 1 thorn clockwise from the tower you are tethered to. If you are a blue tether player, you move 3 thorns counterclockwise from the thorn you are tethered to. Identify your destination thorn and move near it, but stay on the boss. Hesperos will cast another Searing Stream, and we need to catch a heal before immediately moving out to our thorn assignments. At this point, the 4 water tethers will break, and everyone will be in position to either soak a tower or resolve their water AoE. Immediately after resolving the water tethers, the entire raid moves south, and we have the player tethered to the thorn at 1 or A break their massive circle plus raid-wide combo thorn. The raid rotates clockwise and the player tethered to B or 2 breaks. We rotate clockwise again and the player at C3 breaks, and rotate clockwise 1 final time before the player at 4D breaks. Because these are dark tethers, each massive circle is accompanied by a raid-wide that inflicts magic vulnerability up. Hesperos will once again cast Ultimate Impulse, so we need to resolve the final dark tether early enough that we aren't still vulnerable by the end of the Ultimate Impulse cast. After another Searing Stream, Hesperos will cast Akanthai Finale, telegraphing 8 towers. This is followed by Wreath of Thorns, summoning 2 more thorns that each will tether 4 players with wind, with 1 thorn tethering all the DPS, and the other tethering the tanks and healers. We spread around the thorn we are tethered to, with the melees taking the inside and the range taking the outside. Hesperos will cast Fleeting Impulse, targeting every party member with a circle AoE, 1 at a time. This inflicts a 20-second magic vulnerability up on each player it hits. Players should pay attention to which hit of Fleeting Impulse they were targeted with, as this will determine which tower they soak later. After Fleeting Impulse, the wind tethers will resolve and we are free to move once again. Hesperos will cast Wreath of Thorns and very quickly begin tethering the finale towers, starting at a random one and going clockwise from there. The player hit by the first Fleeting Impulse hit needs to soak the first tower tethered. The player hit by the second Fleeting Impulse hit needs to soak the second tower tethered, and so on. Hesperos will cast another sight Tankbuster, a Searing Stream, and another Demigod double Tankbuster before entering his final mechanic, Akanthai Curtain Call. The entire party will receive a dark tether and should immediately position on the opposite side of the boss from their tethered thorn. After a few seconds, everyone will also be given Thorn-pricked debuffs with various timers. There are patterns here, but to avoid overcomplicating the mechanic, there is a simple formula. When a DPS timer has 12 seconds remaining, they break. When a tank or healer timer has 6 seconds remaining, they break. This will result in a Raidwide roughly every 6 seconds, giving healers a chance to heal before the next one breaks. Like earlier in the fight, not breaking a tether before its timer expires will result in it dealing greatly increased damage. As soon as the timers come out, the DPS with 12 seconds breaks immediately. 6 seconds later, the tank with 6 seconds will break. 6 seconds later, the DPS with 12 seconds remaining breaks. 6 seconds later, the healer with 6 seconds will break, and so on. We continue following this formula until all 8 tethers have been resolved. Hesperos will also cast Hell's Sting during this mechanic. Simply dodge between the cones and, once the first hit goes off, move into the center of the first hit to avoid the second. After Curtain Call, Hesperos will throw out an Ultimate Impulse Raidwide with a second set of Curtain Call tethers, which we resolve exactly as we did the first. After Curtain Call, Hesperos will cast one more Ultimate Impulse before enraging with a longer cast of Ultimate Impulse.